The following is a paid program.
It's not because he's Caribbean, it's not because he has a black skin, it's because he's one of the biggest thieves and corruptors I've ever come across in now 47 years as an investigative reporter. The man has no class. He lies and he lies and he throws, as you know, in Trinidad politics, he throws out the most disgusting lies to divert the media from what he's actually doing. They already have Mr. Warner's sons who have pleaded guilty to crimes and are returning some of the stolen money. So let's get that down as the baseline. The only reason Mr. Jack Warner is now subject to an Interpol warrant, to a federal indictment from America, is because he's a thief. Jack, stop smoking that stuff. Come down to earth, will you?
I'm honored to be joined today by Director James Comey of the FBI, by Acting U.S. Attorney Kelly Curry here in the Eastern District of New York, and Chief of Investigation Richard Weber of the IRS's Criminal Investigation Division. We are here to announce the unsealing of charges and the arrests of individuals as part of our long-running investigation into bribery and corruption in the world of organized soccer.
Jack, stop smoking that stuff. Come down to earth, will you?
Our investigation revealed that what should have been an expression of international sportsmanship was used as a vehicle in this broader scheme to line executives' pockets with bribes totaling $110 million.
Jack, stop smoking that stuff. Come down to earth, will you?
The indictment also alleges that corruption and bribery extended to the 2011 presidential FIFA election.
If there is anybody here who has a conscience and wish to send back the money, I am willing to take it. There are some people here who believe they're more pious than thou. If you're pious, open a church, friend.
Jack, stop smoking that stuff. Come down to earth, will you?
And while at least one FIFA executive served as CONCACAF president without pay, there was little altruism involved, as he alone is alleged to have taken more than $10 million in bribes over a 19-year period and amassed a personal fortune from his ill-gotten gains.
Jack, stop smoking that stuff. Come down to earth, will you?
Morning, Mr. Warner.
It is the $10 million question at the center of FIFA's global bribery scandal.
The $10 million, where did it go?
Cash promised by South Africa and sent to this man, former FIFA Vice President Jack Warner.
Can you tell us where the $10 million went, Jack? Mr. Warner, where did the $10 million go to? Can you tell us one project, Mr. Warner? Can you tell us about one project that you spent the money on?
Jack, stop smoking that stuff. Come down to earth, will you?
Scandal number 3, you know this one. This is the South African allegation that its football program bribed Jack Warner in his green shirt $10 million to get all the Caribbean nations to vote for them for the 2010 Cup.
Jack, stop smoking that stuff. Come down to earth, will you?
Scandal number 7, ticket scalping. A guy the authorities say made at least $1.2 million by illegally selling 2006 and 2010 Cup tickets was turned by the prosecutors. He was the key who led to all those U.S. arrests in Switzerland last week. Scandal number 8. That ticket scalper is named Darian Warner. And yes, he's the son of Jack Warner, which means among the people he ratted out to the feds was his own dad.
Jack, stop smoking that stuff. Come down to earth, will you?
I say this, Jack. You diverted $750,000 in Haiti relief funds into a bank account you controlled.
Jack, stop smoking that stuff. Come down to earth, will you?
File, Gavin file, Kamla file, Munilal file. Well, the people of Rapuchis tell me come here and ask him. There's only one file he need. It's called the Nicholson file. And tonight, Jack, I bring a gift for Jack Warner tonight. There's the only file that he need is a Nicholson 12-inch file. And this is a file to saw you way out of an American jail cell.
Jack, stop smoking that stuff. Come down to earth, will you?
This investigation conducted by IRS, CI, special agents, and the FBI was complex and thorough. The indictments and guilty pleas announced this morning highlight what can happen when those in positions of power abuse that trust, engage in undisclosed self-dealing, and misappropriate funds. In addition to the charges announced today, the government is also seeking the forfeiture of all property obtained from the proceeds of the various schemes outlined by the Attorney General and the U.S. Attorney. To date, more than $151 million has been identified. As the best financial investigators in the world, IRS-CI special agents exposed complex money laundering schemes, uncovered millions of dollars in untaxed income, and discovered tens of millions of dollars hidden away in offshore accounts in countries like Hong Kong, the Cayman Islands, and Switzerland. This really is the World Cup of fraud, and today we're issuing FIFA a red card.
Jack, stop smoking that stuff. Come down to earth, will you? The man has no class. He lies and he lies and he throws, as you know, in Trinidad politics, he throws out the most disgusting lies to divert the media from what he's actually doing.
Eleven minutes after the hour of 6 o'clock. Welcome, citizens. Welcome to the election platform with yours truly, the Gladiator. The last time I was here at this studio, I raised the issue of the email gate scandal, and I explained to citizens of the Republic the conspiracy, the orchestrated conspiracy of the Emailgate scandal that was perpetrated against the Prime Minister and other government ministers. Here it is today. Now that the public have come to the understanding and the conclusion that the email gate was a farce, was a total failure, the public deemed it to be a failure, and the conspirators, the politicians who were involved in fabricating those emails to bring down the government. I say the politicians, because the whistleblowers are no one else but the politicians, and they know who they are. Here it is today. This scumbag, this political scumbag. Yes, you, Jack Warner, low life. You have reached to the level where people all over the world who thought of you as a respectable individual, you have reached to the lowest ever. And you feel that you're scoring points. And you feel that you are doing something that will persuade the voters. But little do you know that you will not set the agenda and determine what must be the issues of the day in the minds of the undecided, and by extension, at a wider level, the electorate. You see, you want to grab the media headlines almost on a daily basis because you are selling this country to the world with the support of the PNM, that the people in this country are not about issues at all. They are not about policies at all. They are about scandal, bacchanal, wajang behavior, movelang, and rumors. And you feel, yes, you, Jack Warner, you feel that you have gripped the nation all through the help of certain newspaper journalists. Because that is what you all want to sell to the public. You have come to realize that no one trusts you anymore at all, Jack Warner. Not even members of your own party trust you. And what you want to do is to dirty and tarnish the reputation of the Prime Minister, better known as Kamla Persad-Bissessar. This failure, this political leader who is a complete failure, Dr. Keith Rowley, you are trying all how to reinvent and make this man this reckless political leader, the ultimate option to become the country's next prime minister. This man, a complete wajang, bacchanalist. But then, he's the kind of man who will want to sue Gladiator because I call him a wajang. He's the kind of man who will want to sue me because I call him a bacchanalist. But we all listened to him last night at Pigot's Corner. And rather than this leader try to unite the PNM party that has been split down the middle, you went to attack the former leader of the PNM party, Patrick Manning, on a platform. But I'm holding back that clip for tomorrow on the program at 6 p.m. tomorrow, because the public must hear the clip for themselves. I have received so much calls with regards to what transpired last night. With regards to what transpired last night at Pigot's Corner, when one thought that you would have been discussing issues, when one thought that Colin Mimbut would have been discussing issues, when one thought the ball Rasta, Fitzgerald Hines would have been discussing issues, you all have decided to relax yourself, because as far as you all are concerned, Jack Warner is doing all the work. Jack Warner have decided to take over the mantle of the People's National Movement to do the nasty work on behalf of the PNM. But let me tell you this, Jack Warner, you will not set the agenda, because the people outside there are not fools. And the real agenda, Jack Warner, and today I just dealing with part one, because I've compiled a file on you, Jack Warner, and I've also compiled a file on the political leader of the PNM, Dr. Keith Rowley. Yes, I'm coming for you. You, Dr. Rowley, are coming for you. You ain't getting away at all. Because if you feel you will become the next prime minister of this country, you will never see that blue lights. Those blue lights you want to see? Flashing, police opening doors for you, and you already bought about 17 suits, one to put on the night of swearing in or on the day of swearing in to be the next prime minister. You're dreaming, you, Mr. Rowley, because I've compiled a file on you. And when I'm ready to deal with you, I know you will want to call management and tell management you don't like what Gladiator say. And they will want to call them lawyers, Faris Alwari, Stuart Young, and them others, Ramesh Lon Maraj. But the thing about it is that you had to come damn good. And I always advise people to record my program because the things I have to say is very important. You, Mr. Jack Warner, a man with no class, strange enough, in the month of April 2013, the same month, the same year, when you resign as Minister of National Security, strange enough, you got, according to your statement, your affidavits, you were told that marijuana was found at the residence of the Prime Minister. So you have decided now to set the agenda for this election and have made marijuana the issue and have us as a laughing stock on the outside. In that the people, the world want to know what the hell is going on in this country. You try to lure the Prime Minister into making statement while you was recording her. You recorded Gary Griffith, and the amount of recordings that you have, one is left to wonder. An ILP member told me yesterday, Gladiator, we kind of getting frightened of Jack Warner. And I won't call that ILP member because you all want to victimize him because that is what you want to do. And you love to do that. ILP members and supporters are trembling in their boots because you feel that you must record and hold files and secrets upon persons, and the day any one of them decide to leave you, you want to go on a platform and bust mark and say, I have the recording of this one and I have the recording of that one. At times, you tell some of your own ILP members, don't ask me who give me that information because you'll never know. Call me on this number. Don't call me on that number. You, Jack Warner. And when you're doing that, it's because you're engaging in recording people's conversation without their notification. And in so doing that, you keep that in a file, and you have so much files, so much recordings, that you have even forgotten where you place some of those recordings. But if you feel that you're going to get away, not today at all. On the 18th of April 2013, CONCACAF Integrity Committee presented the final report of the investigation against Austin Jack Warner, Charles Chuck Blazer, and they made serious findings: breach of fiduciary duties, breach of code of ethics, white-collar crime, misconduct, fraud committed against CONCACAF and FIFA, embezzlement, misappropriation of funds, and several more. And that is what you don't want the public to be aware of. The Prime Minister of this republic was not responsible for the Integrity Committee's finding. On many an occasion, when the same leader that you're supporting to be the next Prime Minister attack you, made all kinds of statements against you, many of us heard the Prime Minister stated, until she get the evidence, she cannot do anything. And she made that statement as an experienced attorney at law. But a lowlife, a political scumbag like you want the Prime Minister to breach international law. You want the Prime Minister to breach international treaty. So you're brave and bold. You're not brave for BBC. You're not brave for international media personnel at all. But you're brave to bully the Prime Minister, to try to force her to submit to you. Who the hell is you, Jack Warner? Ben Hammond does not answer your call anymore. The Arab Finances does not answer your call anymore. The people in South Africa does not answer your call anymore. You have been tarnished. You are useless. And what you are doing, you are trying to use the money that you have in your possession for the meanwhile to try to bring down the Prime Minister with some marijuana allegation. And this marijuana allegation is Marijuana Gate, Email Gate Part 2. Who are the people or person that intentionally planted the said substance, if we are to agree that there was marijuana substance at the residence of the Prime Minister? Whosoever is responsible for that knew what they were doing. And because you did not have good intention, you, Jack Warner, it was your intention to record the Prime Minister's response when you contacted the Prime Minister. And if that is true, only if you really contacted the Prime Minister, you recorded the conversation, assuming but not accepting that you contacted the Prime Minister. You wanted to put the Prime Minister in a compromising position, as you did to Gary Griffith. And what you did, you record the conversation. How can anybody in the world trust you anymore, Jack Warner? But as I said, you would not set the agenda. On page 92, it reads, and this is the Integrity Committee report. The record leaves no doubt that Jack Warner and Chuck Blazer did much to promote and develop the sports of football both in CONCACAF region and globally over a period of more than 2 decades. Full stop. Each man deserves considerable credit for his contribution to the advancement of football. Full stop. Nevertheless, it is equally apparent that Warner and Blazer, together and individually, use their official position to promote their own self-interest and frequently added with disregard for the interests of the CONCACAF members associations, with disdain for the rules that govern their conduct. Furthermore, it is apparent that Warner and Blazer Each was aware of the risk of potential misconduct posed by the other and was most capable of holding the other accountable, but neither did so, at least in part, to preserve the unfettered freedom to act on his own self-interest. This mutual lack of accountability enabled Warner and Blazer to coexist in unity for many years until May 2011. The public have to know these things, people. When Blazer disrupted the balance by reporting Warner to FIFA for ethics violation related to Mohammed bin Amin's campaign for president of FIFA. According to the Integrity Committee, after a thorough and careful review of available evidence, the Integrity Committee concludes that the evidence supports certain findings with regard to the specific issue that the committee has been asked to investigate. The Integrity Committee concludes that the evidence reviewed on a balance of probabilities, and your lawyer could tell you about when they speak about on a balance of probabilities, supports the following findings with regards to the development of the Center of Excellence and CONCACAF operation in Trinidad and Tobago. Warner committed fraud against CONCACAF and FIFA. What happened? You want this to override what you're trying to set in this country, the agenda of the day, in this election period? This is what the committee said. And who was this committee headed by? Queen's Counsel David Anthony Cathcart Simmons. David Simmons, Queen's Counsel, the committee was headed by. They allege that you committed fraud against CONCACAF and FIFA. Warner committed fraud and misappropriation of funds from FFA. Warner and Blazer breached the fiduciary duties to CONCACAF. Warner and Blazer violated the CONCACAF statutes. Warner violated FIFA Code of Ethics. But all of a sudden, you're playing Mr. Integrity, trying to fool the people in this country. That is what you're trying to do. In a letter sent to you, and according to the letter here, dated January 21st, 2013, I am not calling you honorable, but the letter started off saying that Austin Jack Warner, 69 Cynthia Drive, Howell Settlement, 5 Rivers, Aruca, Ward of Tagarica, Trinidad, request for documents, and you refuse to give handover documents. Dear Mr. Warner, as you may know, the Confederation of North Central America and Caribbean Association Football, better known as CONCACAF, has appointed an integrity committee to review matters pertaining to previous administration of CONCACAF. On behalf of the members of the integrity committee, I would like to express our sincere hope and desire that you will participate in the committee's effort to gather information and to understand the facts about certain matters. This is what you don't want the public to be aware of. This is what you don't want the public to discuss. You, Jack Warner. In that regard, on behalf of the Integrity Committee, I request that you provide to the Integrity Committee any and all documents of records in any form that you have in your possession or control related to the following issues. Any bank accounts in Trinidad and Tobago held in the name or for the benefit of CONCACAF and or Dr. Joe Haviland Center of Excellence, including but not limited to any account opening documents, signature, cards, account statements, correspondence, deposits, debits, loan application, and mortgage documents, and support documents, checks, wire transfer, and other transactional documents. Did you submit those documents, Warner? But they want to attack the goodly Prime Minister, Sister Kamala. According to the committee, the request operation of the Office of the President of CONCACAF, which was formerly located in Trinidad, including but not limited to any correspondence and financial accounting records. Did you submit any financing accounting records? All what the Prime Minister told you to do was to clear your name. That's all what the Prime Minister told you to do. Clear your name. But you don't want to do that at all. You want to bully the Prime Minister over some plant marijuana to bring down the Prime Minister, as how they planted the email gate scandal that did not work. And this reckless leader of the PNM, I dealing with you tomorrow, you know. Because when I play that clip, we caught you. We have you on record. The man down in San Fernando, the former Prime Minister, the former leader of the PNM party, Patrick Manning. And all what you could do on a platform is go and make subtle attacks against the former Prime Minister of this country, Patrick Manning. No wonder why the party is split down the middle. I received so many calls from PNM people, even up to an hour ago. Gladiator, you must talk about it. PNM people are upset with you of the statement you made last night at Piggett's Corner. That's all what you could do. Not discuss policy, but go on a platform to attack the former leader of the party. I told you already, Rowley, you're not fit to become the next Prime Minister. I told you that. Yes, let me come back to you, Jack Warner. What you don't want the public to know, because you're not discussing this issue. Go on the platform and clear your name. Who the hell want to hear that you saying, well, I am innocent? How much time you going to sing that song? That you're innocent? You cannot bully the reporters on the outside of Parliament at all. You cannot bully them at all. But you want to bully the Prime Minister. That's the level you reach to. And everybody you call, you want to record their conversation. That's the level that you reach to. And you have to be taking down information if you give a person a check. Because of your evil, nasty, dirty mind. You have to hold that in file. So down the road you could use it against them. Yeah? You're fine. With all the allegations you made against the Prime Minister not working. All of a sudden, you're no longer talking about email gate. Yes, you, Jack Warner. Let me tell you this. I am buying over the fight for the Prime Minister. Furthermore, by extension, I call on the people of Trinidad and Tobago to buy over the fight. You cannot set no agenda in this country. You're not fit to set any agenda in this country. You, Jack Warner, to make a dictator become the next Prime Minister, one of the most arrogant political leader in the history of this country, become the next Prime Minister, and you want to set the record? Let me continue with this letter here, because it must be exposed. I have plenty of information to expose about you. They requested of you drafting and approval of the CONCACAF statute and any other materials related to the governance of CONCACAF, ownership, development, construction, and operation of Center of Excellence. Did you submit those documents? Including but not limited to any records related to any fundings and or financing for the purchase or development of the Center of Excellence, any transfer of funds to or from the Center of Excellence, any mortgage loans taken against the Center of Excellence, any accounting of expenses and or revenue related to the operation of Center of Excellence, and any government filings relating to the Center of Excellence. Did you submit that, Jack Warner? Yes, you. Why don't you publish this letter that was sent to you? You go on a platform and you lie to the nation that you was not consulted. This is consultation. It was sent to you. It goes on in the letter. Compensation paid at any time and for any purpose to the former General Secretary of CONCACAF, including but not limited to any related employment contracts, agreements with third parties, correspondence, or records related to any payment of or failure to pay taxes to the United States government, including but not limited to any tax advice obtained, any discussion or assessment of potential tax liability, and any correspondence related to or any decision to pay or not to pay taxes in America. Did you submit those documents, Jack Warner? And that's what they're asking you. But you don't want to discuss that at all, because what you want to sell to the world is that Trinidad like Bacchanal, and the gullible ones, the duncy head talk show hosts, some of them cannot even read. They cannot comprehend. They're not doing no research at all, but gullible and spreading propaganda to the gullible ones and not addressing the whole issue at all. And it was this same document Dr. Keith Rowley used in Parliament in 2013. But today, he's in the bed with Jack Warner because 2 weeks ago, a secret meeting was held. And don't ask me how I gotta find out that. You must tell the public and play the record of that secret meeting with the PNM and the ILP. The information has come back to me. And don't ask me who give me the information. You will not know and you will never know. The letter went on that they needed financial disclosure by CONCACAF, including but not limited to any draft annual financial report, any document supporting disclosures in annual financial report, any correspondence related to the process of auditing annual financial report, and any documents related to financial disclosure to the Executive Committee or Congress of CONCACAF. Did you submit those documents? Did you submit those documents? Any allegation of misconduct involving CONCACAF, did you submit those things as president, as former president of CONCACAF? You, Jack Warner. If documents of or records responsive to this request no longer exist because they have been lost, discarded, or otherwise destroyed, we would appreciate receiving from you a description of the date and circumstances under which such documents or record were lost, discarded, or destroyed. They went at that length because the committee was investigating allegation of corruption, bribe, fraud, wire transfer, money laundering. And your name came up and they pleaded to you for your kind assistance. But did you do that? Did you give them any assistance? So David Simmons concluded, we ask that you comply with the above request by February 11, 2013. Please send all documents, records, or information that you have to the attention of Keisha McGee Perry at CONCACAF headquarters, 725 Fifth Avenue, 7th floor, New York. If you have any questions related to this request, please contact Ms. McGee Perry by email or by telephone, and they give you the telephone number. To the extent that you may incur administrative expenses in responding to this request, such as photocopying or courier charges, we will be happy to discuss with you the possibility that CONCACAF might reimburse you for such reasonable expenses. I plan to contact you again at a later date to request a time for a representative of CONCACAF Integrity Committee to meet with you. I thank you in advance for your cooperation in this process. Now, people, I want to read, and I will open up the lines, and the numbers are 222-8255. This was Jack Warner's response on the 29th of January 2013. This is the man who wants to play that he's a man of integrity. He's trying to market himself as this man, this corruption buster. He wants to market himself as this new champion of fighting crime and corruption and bribery or what have you. Hear what Jack Warner said. And let me quote Jack Warner. January 29, 2013, Sir David Anthony Cartart Simmons, Chairman, CONCACAF Integrity Commission, 725th floor, 25, 5th Avenue, 17th floor, New York, USA. Dear Sir Simmons, your letter dated the 21st of January, 2013. I acknowledge receipt of your letter of January 21st, 2013, in which you requested information related to CONCACAF. As you are no doubt aware, I resigned my position as president of CONCACAF on June the 20th, 2011. And at that time declared publicly that I would also relinquish all ties with football-related activities with CONCACAF and otherwise. Having done so, I have no documents or records in any form in my possession or otherwise which would allow me to respond to matters contained in your letter. With reference to your request for a meeting at some later date, I do not believe that such a meeting is necessary, nor would it provide any additional information. Yours faithfully, Jack Austin Warner. This, people, is a letter written by Jack Warner to the Integrity Committee. This is the kind of assistance of a man who wants to fight corruption. This is the kind of assistance of a man who wants to bust mark, expose file, mash up the UNC party, mash up the COP, mash up and bring down the cup, and write every week in the ILP newspaper called Sunshine. He is corruption buster. This man. But here it is. The committee, the Integrity Committee of CONCACAF requested document, and this man bluntly refused to assist the Integrity Committee. Does not want to submit any evidence. And as far as he's concerned, all I want to investigate me, do that on our own without my assistance. And when they made the findings and they accused him of allegation of fraud, corruption, breach of fiduciary duties, breach of code of ethics, they accuse him of white-collar crime. They accuse him of misconduct. They accuse him of fraud committed against CONCACAF and FIFA. That's what the committee did. You want to blame Sister Kamala for that? You gotta be mad and out of place with yourself. You, Jack Warner. She didn't cause you to commit that. And you going on this Warner TV and making yourself one of the biggest donkey, the biggest ass of the Bible, bigger and larger than the animal in the Bible. You said Jesus Christ more than us? Well, you want to make yourself better than what Jesus Christ wrote upon. And marketing this country as a bunch of, the people of this country are a bunch of maroons. Yeah? Foolish people, ignorant people, and all they want to hear is bacchanal, gossip, wajang behavior. That's all what they want to hear. And have the world laughing at us. You, Jack Warner, that's how you sell in this country. No wonder why people all over the world have lost total respect for you. Let's go to the lines and take some calls. Good afternoon. Good evening, caller. The numbers are 222-8255. Every 11th day, you get a chance.
Hello.
Yeah, good evening, caller.
Yeah, thinking.
Yeah. Whether you all like it or not, you'll have to take that.
Thinking.
Yeah. Whether you all like it or not, you'll have to take that. Because some of y'all want to tolerate that kind of behavior and conduct of Jack Warner. That is why I'm saying that Jack Warner, you could do whatever you want to make that dictator the next prime minister. It will never happen at all. It will never happen. Good evening, caller.
Hello, good evening. Oh my God. I went and I joined that party, you know. I paid my $1. And they never send a paper to tell me how I'm a member. But I am glad to. But I am sit down listening. And I had noticed something fishy about Jack Warner. Eh? I am calling from Tobago. Bye.
Thank you. I am calling on all members of the ILP to leave the ILP. You're not following an upright leader at all. Good evening, caller.
Well, good evening, Brother Gladiator, Tabakit in the house.
Good evening to you, Tabakit.
Brother, I want you to keep strong, keep focused. Brother, those information that you're revealing to Trinidad and Tobago and the world, my brother, I want you to bring it out. Bring it out. Don't be afraid, Brother Gladiator. You see those information that you're feeding the nation with, what Jack Warner is hiding from the country. Gladiator, I want to thank you this evening. Tabakit want to thank you on behalf of all concerned citizens. Listen, I am saying, Brother Gladiator, on behalf of civil society, we are saying thank you for coming here. And I know there is certain information you also have on Dr. Rowley. But let me say this, the Sunshine Hour, I want one of the fellas to tell me who work on Sunshine, to tell me out of the Sandy Grande Regional Corporation, the Sunshine worker who had interfered with a little girl inside there, Tabakit out and off.
Thank you. Good evening, caller. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Hello?
Yes, good evening.
Yes, is this the Gladiator?
Good evening, caller.
Yes, good evening, sir. Listen to me. I now seen Jack Warner like he's trying to attack the Prime Minister, the family, and he wants to know who's Christian. But I want to believe Christian is the woman's grandson. Right? Nobody ain't asking here about his grandchildren and son and all these kind of things. Why does
Yeah. As I said before, I am not going to allow Jack Warner to set the agenda in this country. Because what he is doing, he's selling to the nation, not to the nation, but to the world, that all the people in this country, all they like to hear is bacchanal and commerce. Not the issues at all. Good evening, caller.
Can I have a call?
I don't want to hear that person at all. Now you see how foolish that last. I don't want to hear that person at all. Now you see how foolish that last lady is. She's not thinking at all. No wonder why Skippy and that lady does always fall out. because she's an ignoramus of the highest order. No, it's you, and this is what I said a while ago. This is the point I made a while ago. Jack Warner is of the view that some of these people, all they want to hear is commerce, bacchanal, lacqueray, and they are not concerned about policies. Good evening, caller.
The blood of Jesus against you.
Yes. And same to you in return. That is why it wouldn't work at all.
Same to you.
Yeah. Yes. Good evening, caller.
Hello, Gladiator. Good evening.
Good evening to you.
It's nice to see you back on track, man. Hello, Gladiator.
Yes.
It's good to see you back on track, sir.
Thank you.
But hear this. Jack Warner. If people know Jack Warner, then they won't get to know nothing. I have known him personally 16 years well.
Thank you very much, caller.
And also this goes to Jack Warner, and who criticized the PNM, and the PNM said that he do not want to see...
Well, he is working. He is working. Thank you, caller. Thank you, because we have a lot of callers on the line. He is working for the PNM party, and he have decided to take over the mantle of the PNM, understand, to do all the dirty work, to engage in wajangism, all kind of gossip, bacchanal, lacqueray, all of these kind of things. No wonder why you have that foolish illiterate. That illiterate. All she could do is she only had knowledge to make pepper sauce. No wonder why Skippy just throw the pepper sauce in the dustbin. Foolish person. Foolish individual. And these are the people who claiming to be mothers in this country. What an illiterate, a consummate illiterate.
Hello.
Good evening, caller.
102.
Yeah. And whether Jack Warner wished to set the agenda.
102.
Yeah. And whether Jack Warner wished to set the agenda, he would not be able to set the agenda in this election. Because all what he wants to do, beat up on a woman, bully the woman by the name of Kamala Prasad Bisesa. That's all what he wants to do. And in so doing, he feels that he's going to achieve his objective. Because what he wants the Prime Minister to do is to breach the treaty signed with the government of Trinidad and Tobago and the United States of America to extradite him. Good evening, caller.
Good afternoon.
Good evening.
Now, I told you the whole of the radio, right? Now, according to what I heard on the radio.
Yeah. Good evening, caller. Yeah. And if you all feel, yeah, and if you all feel that you all are going to distract from the entire issue, let me continue to read about this man called Jack Warner. Let me continue. A review of public records in Trinidad and Tobago clearly establishes that from 1996 to 1998, companies controlled by Warner purchased the parcel of land on which his Center of Excellence was developed, and that Warner's company still hold title to the properties. Nevertheless, Warner consistently and falsely reported to CONCACAF Executive Committee and the Congress of CONCACAF financial statements that the Center of Excellence was a CONCACAF asset worth many millions of dollars. For the last 10 years and more, Warner participated in presenting many millions of dollars. For the last 10 years or more, Warner participated in presenting financial statements to the Executive Committee and Congress that describe the Center of Excellence on the CONCACAF balance sheet, a freehold property, an unequivocal statement of land ownership by CONCACAF that was clearly false. At the same time, Warner consistently and fraudulently sought authorization from the Executive Committee to invest funds obtained from FIFA for the development of the Center of Excellence. This is on record. This is on record. And you'll never see an article in the Sunshine newspaper, the propaganda papers for the People's National Movement Party. You'll never see that published in that newspaper. Let me continue and expose him. You ain't setting no agenda for me, Warner. And all them ILP imps, some of them fanatic ones, who still looking, at least one or two of them coming to realize that they are in deep trouble, because when they open them out and talk for you on radio, whatever checks you have to give them, you have that on record, and you holding that in file to embarrass them anytime they hold an independent view. Let me expose this so-called man who is on a parade pretending to be a man of integrity. According to the document, Warner acted in other ways to create false impression within Concord. And you know what is so alarming? The People's National Movement Party is supporting this. And Dr. Rowley is saying that the PNM is against corruption. And here it is. Jack Warner now is in the bosom of the PNM. Let me expose the information here. Warner acted in other ways to create a false impression within CONCACAF that the Center of Excellence was owned by CONCACAF. Hear this here, let me repeat that statement. This man called Jack Warner acted in other ways to create a false impression within CONCACAF that the Center of Excellence was owned by CONCACAF, while at the same time he sought to persuade CONCACAF to allocate funds to the development of the Center of Excellence. For example, when Warner obtained initial approval for the development of the Center of Excellence in 1995, he informed the Executive Committee that the Center of Excellence was intended to help raise the quality of CONCACAF soccer. Warner said nothing of the fact that he would own the land on which the Center of Excellence was developed. The approval resulted in an initial commitment from CONCACAF of $7.5 million that was eventually funded through a loan provided by FIFA, and a portion of that loan to CONCACAF guaranteed by FIFA. Because I have so much information to reveal and expose this man called Jack Warner, I have more days. Not today, more shall be revealed tomorrow and the following week. But tomorrow, I'm coming for you, Rowley, and Fitzgerald Hines are coming for you.
That was a paid program. Make informed decisions this election with your voice and your vote. Power 102, where the real power is.